Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of PoCommunity. I'm Mike Arboyd and I'm sitting here with Amr the Internet Guy.
Hey guys, how's it going?
How's it going, man?
Well, good, thank you, Mike.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about yourself, your story and everything.
Oh, okay, you have all day?
I have all day, yeah, I do.
So the first thing is, if you realize my name is only 3 letters, it's just AMR,
Yeah.
which is very hard to pronounce usually, so I ended up having nicknames.
Yeah.
So my first nickname was Amor, and then this gave me some kind of a reputation because it's like love in Latin languages.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be known as the love guy.
Why not?
I'm married already. Taken. Sorry, guys. But when I started to work, one of the things that caught up my attention. So if we go back to my first Windows computer, so like any kid in the old days, you'd learn a little bit of programming. Your parents would buy you whatever computer was available at the moment, and at these times, nothing compared to what we have these days.
Yeah.
It was like an Amstrad or a Sinclair or whatever, like something black, small, with a very small screen that's like kind of gray and black,
Yeah.
and the text wasn't even good contrast. Like it was, I think, yellow or something on the screen. And if you switch it off, it doesn't save. There was no hard disk. But you kind of play around with it, try to create a game, try to program bits and pieces and learn a little bit. And then I went to university. I took some programming courses of languages that are no longer in use, like COBOL and Fortran. And I left it. After this, I just worked, I worked in sales and marketing. Then I joined one of the airlines, and I was actually a cabin crew, like an air host.
Nice.
And during my time in the airline, I wanted to learn more, not only about technology, but I was always thinking. So when I joined the airline, I was 1994. I was 23? Yeah, I was 23. So the first 2 years, of course, I'm traveling, I'm seeing the world, I'm having a lot of fun. But after 2, 3 years, you start thinking, okay, what's next? Am I going to stay in this job for the rest of my life and retire? Which is not a bad thing. It's a good job, you get good money, you meet nice people, you see the world. But the hardest thing is you can't have a regular, stable relationship.
Yeah.
And, let alone have kids and build a family. I don't know, my colleagues who are still doing it, kudos to everybody. And to all of you guys, I couldn't do what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I started to learn different bits and pieces, and the first thing is I became a trainer. So within the airline itself, I took a few courses and I became one of the trainer. I didn't do an awful lot of courses, for some reasons and flying schedules and stuff. I've done a few, but I was always thinking about what's next. So 1996, I think I got my Windows 95 computer with one of these modems, and it was my first experience with the internet.
Yeah.
And I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to shut off the computer. I'd just go and unplug it.
Yeah.
But the most fascinating part for me was things like email. I couldn't believe that you can type a message and it arrives after a few seconds, and I'm like, what? And there's no beeper.
Yeah.
I'm a fax guy and a rotary phone guy. That's the.
Yeah.
So I took it upon myself to just how does this? I wanted to know how this works. So I looked around for courses, for anything, and you got to remember, 1996, the internet was slow. We didn't have the .com boom or bubble yet,
Yeah.
and there were no courses. The only IT courses that were fashionable back then was the Microsoft Engineer certification. And I kept on and off, looking at it. And it was hard, because if you wanted to learn, there was nothing online like these days.
Yeah.
And I'm flying, so I have no control over my schedule. So I can't go to a university or a specific institute and have 5 days a week, 40...
Yeah.
40 hours per week and then do it in 4 weeks and get my certification. It was very hard. So I started to play around, break my computer, and go give it to the, where I bought it from for the guys to fix it. And then I would just stick around and try to learn what they're doing. And then the next time I break it, I try it myself. If it works, good. If it doesn't, Did the same thing with the internet. Started to read on the internet, like, at the time, how things work. And, there was I remember, I think it was, I can't remember which site it was, but it was one of the most basic sites. That's like Wikipedia now. Like at the time, there was no Wikipedia. And I think it was, I don't know, maybe ISOC, which is the Internet Society, like one of the main bodies of, I wouldn't call them the regulators of the internet, but one of the main bodies that's in charge of making the internet better.
Yeah.
And I went there, and then it all came to action in, I think, 2000. I found a good course. So finally, I found like a great course that teaches you how to be a webmaster. And the course itself had different modules. One of them, which was the hardest one, was networking. So for you to understand how computers communicate with each other, and for everyone to understand that the internet, as we call it, the internet, is just a massive network. And so many machines are communicating with each other. So I needed to learn that infrastructure to understand how my email can reach somewhere without a paper in a few seconds.
Yeah.
And then the next module was the languages that are used on the internet. And of course, like the most famous one is HTML language, which web designers used to write in order to create a website. And the idea was really basic at the time. And, is you want that page to look exactly the same, no matter where it's open, on which computer, on which browser, on which, like at the time, of course, we didn't have mobile devices and smartphones and stuff.
Yeah.
But before the internet, if you've written a document in anything, let's say Microsoft Word, and you send it to somebody, if they don't have the same version that you're using, they wouldn't see it exactly as you intended.
Yeah.
And that was the whole idea of HTML as a language. It was like you wanted to look exactly the same everywhere. And that's why nowadays websites, if you're in Japan, you'll see exactly the same thing that you'll see if you're in Australia or here in Canada or whatever. And I learned that like bit by bit to like, to the point that like everything there was to know about HTML, everything there was to know about some of the other coding languages that existed at the time, like JavaScript and some others. And then the last module was the most fun, was about e-commerce. And you got to realize this was what, that was 2001, just when the dot-com bubble burst and everybody wanted to be Jeff Bezos and Amazon, but nobody understood how it works. And actually our study case was Amazon at the time. Little did we know that it's going to be, the biggest retailer on earth, and Jeff Bezos would be the richest man and take over Bill Gates and the Queen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was like people were making fun of him at the time because he wasn't making profit.
Yeah.
2000, 2001, 2002, the people thought Jeff Bezos was crazy because he's not making any profit.
Yeah.
But what he was saying is that I'm making money. I'm just not taking it as profit. I'm reinvesting it into Amazon. And that was like pretty much like by the time I finished and I got my certification, I was hired by one of the institutes of technology as an e-commerce consultant. I used to train like CEOs of companies at the time. Like companies didn't have anything online. They didn't have a website, let alone an e-commerce storefront. So they'd come to an institute of technology or a university to try and find who's working on that, and then hire you by the hour from the institute to just work with them as a consultant and get things up and running. And this was the start, like, they couldn't pronounce my name, so they called me the Internet Guy. Like, we're meeting with the Internet Guy. Like, okay, fine. My name is Amr, by the way. But
Hey, it worked out. It's a good. It's like a good title to have, though. Like, it sticks out, right? So, but you got into it pretty much at the beginning of the internet. So you've been doing that for a long time, right?
Yeah.
How far has web development come?
Man, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Something that used to take me maybe 5 days to do, I can do now in 5 minutes instead. Everything, the speed, because you see, like at the time, that old slow internet dial-up with the modems that make noise. and you'd wait for 3-4 minutes before any page becomes available, even though those pages only had text and images. There was nothing.
Yeah.
Today we're watching Netflix, and you're sitting home and you're watching like a full movie on your couch, and you don't think behind like, how is this made available? Like, what the servers that are actually streaming this, how strong they are, how secure they must be, the bandwidth that you have in your house and the bandwidth that they have at Netflix. Like, these things interest me. I know they're boring for most people, but like, I always want to know, like, how do you make this possible? How do you have an app? Anybody, like, how do you have an app? You click on the phone and you can transact right away, and it's like, what?
Yeah, no, it's insane. It's especially in the amount of time. Just the boom in the last 20 years is insane, and it's every couple of years it just keeps on getting more and more crazy. What would be like the biggest mistake you see people making with their business websites?
The biggest mistake would be not to have a goal for the website. Like, a lot of people think a website is something that looks good, which is, of course, you don't want your website to be ugly, but it has to have a job. Like, if you invest $10 on your website, it has to do something, and if you invest $10,000, it has to do something. So either way, first, most people, if you're starting out, for example, you have an idea and you want to build a website. Before building the website, get a piece of paper, write down what the goal of the website, what do you want it to do for you first. So many people would say, oh, sales, we want more leads from the website. Great. Now think about what should it do to the website visitor. So for the visitor to give you their phone number and email, or name and email, what are they going to get, right? So you have to have one of these, in the industry, we call them call to actions, which is a button that's clickable or something. But you need to have a lead magnet. So something on the website that entices the user or the visitor, like they're getting a piece of information that they will not find elsewhere, something unique. They're downloading a report, or they're some people say, yeah, subscribe to my newsletter, but if I don't know you, I'm not gonna, like, if I'm coming to this website for the first time, I'm not gonna subscribe to your newsletter. I don't know if you're gonna spam me, or if you're gonna send me an email every day, or not. Like, I have no idea. But if there's a report or something of value, a downloadable of some sort that I could not find elsewhere and that is of interest to me, yeah, I'm gonna give you my name and my email to get that report. That's fine. So that's the magnet. And many people think we just put the website there and let it do its job. Like, if you build it, they will come. That doesn't work anymore. You have to actually build it with purpose. The second thing, which is something that very recently Google started to pay attention about, is the loading speed. So forever, people didn't care about how long their website took to load, the homepage specifically. And now Google will penalize you if it takes more than 2.5 seconds. So in Google's SEO algorithm, they also check how long it takes to load. And now people started to realize that websites are taking, like, I don't know, 9 seconds more, 8, 5, whatever, but not 2.5 or less. And that's a problem. And the biggest problem with that is because you're only looking at the aesthetics of it and the look and feel, you could bog down the website with huge images that take forever to load. And I'm not saying don't use them. By all means, your website should look great. But these images, they need to be professionally treated before they go on. So, like, resized, compressed in a way that they actually load faster. And these are like the two main issues that if you do today, you're going to have a better result on your website.
With like website developers now, like back in the day, you really needed to know HTML. Like, you needed to know it, like you said, or JavaScript. Now people can sign up.
Yeah, now we're lazy. We don't do that anymore. Yeah.
Which one's your favorite? Tell me what one is your favorite to use.
I love WordPress, generally speaking. I learned it in 2009, and I just found my way through bits and pieces in WordPress. And at the time, I would probably not build everything on WordPress. I would still code some, some of the stuff. And WordPress wasn't as strong back then as it is right now. But right now, pretty much like I rarely have to look at code anymore. Like if you know HTML and cascading style sheets or CSS, your job is so much easier anyway.
Yeah.
When you look at code and fix things, because there are still some things that are way easier. Like, if you can go and change one word in the code in a second, or do 10 clicks in WordPress to reach the area where you make the change, visually without coding.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you have this knowledge, it helps. But if you don't, it doesn't matter. You can still be a web designer.
Yeah. Well, like we were talking about earlier off camera, was like just business owners and CEOs and people doing their own websites. And why do you think they're doing that? Like, why?
I'd love to know.
Yeah.
So I was intrigued because I'm a member, like all of us, on some business groups on Facebook, and one of the biggest business groups that I'm a member of, I always see people complaining about web designers. So it does look like web designers have a bad reputation. I have no idea why. So I asked a simple question. I didn't want to go and say like, why are you guys complaining about web designers?
Yeah.
But I said, okay, this question is for business owners who did their own website. Could you please let me know, why did you end up doing it yourself? And I was surprised, 90% of the answers cited bad experience.
Yeah.
So now I kind of know that somehow within the business world, web designers have a reputation, and I'm on a mission to try and change that.
Yeah.
But I want to first understand, where does it come from? Like, where does the reputation, what would push a business owner to completely not use a professional, any professional? Like, it doesn't have to be me, you, anybody. Like, why would you go solo and try to do something that is not your core? Like you're a plumber, you're a coach, you're an accountant. Why are you going to spend hours learning web design just to do your own website instead of focusing on your business and your customers?
Yeah, it's a difficult middle ground. I think even more so now, especially with COVID going on, like people don't have that extra dollar to give out for stuff, so people are taking on those jobs. But sometimes your mentality could be worth more than that money you give out to do it, because if you don't know what you're doing, it can be extremely stressful when something you need to get it done.
Yeah.
And you have a time limit. When you use an expert, obviously they can get it done within your time. But like, what would you say, like, when it comes to, like, have you seen some people that are like CEOs and people turn themselves almost into web designers and like be good at it?
And yeah, on some of those business groups, I've seen some coaches, for example, who used to be business coaches, or like they're not necessarily techies, right?
Yeah.
But the experience that they learned during their journey building their own website made them switch to become web designers themselves instead of, business coaches.
Yeah.
So they become either, web designers and web coaches.
Yeah.
Or still keep the business coaching part, but advise their coachees more about, how to be more successful online and things like that. And it's a great thing if you're up for it. Like, I'm not trying to discourage people from learning more. In fact, like, my stance is use a professional when the professional is needed.
Yeah.
So there are some plumbing stuff, like web plumbing stuff, underlying that too technical, that is really hard to do if you're doing it for the first time. And there's the easy stuff, such as writing your own blog posts and finding, the images and trimming them and putting everything on the page and making it look good with the interface that you're given with WordPress or the other tools. That's so easy. You don't have to be technical. But the functionality, like linking things together and getting those plugins to actually play nicely, and when somebody goes and fills the form on your website, you get an email, and all these behind the scenes stuff, you don't need to worry about it yourself. Like, it's going to take you hours, And, you know, if you're not going to be doing this as part of your business that's going to make you money, there's no point of spending 30, 40 hours doing it on your own.
Yeah. I think generally, it's kind of almost like a stereotype with web designers. And I don't even think it's web designers alone. I think the average human being, when it comes to, if they're not techie, the techie people always come off like they know everything. So it's when you it's almost like who you're dealing with. Like if with you, you're a very personal guy, you're likable. So when I know people would love to work with you, you'd be fun to work with. You would listen to what they need for help. When the average person, the techie people they deal with is Geek Squad, and Geek Squad comes to your house and treats you like you're an idiot because it's a problem they fix 50 times a day, and you have no idea how to fix it. I think that's where the problem is. Is it's a personality trait that it's not every one of them. Or at all.
Of course, we're not generalizing, but I mean, we're not all introverts.
Yeah.
Not all techies are introverts, and those who are, sometimes they come across much nicer than you would expect if they're given the chance.
Yeah.
But there are many people who focus on the problem, not on the person.
Yeah.
Like one of the courses I used to teach before, back in my technology teaching days, was we used to teach help desk professionals, IT support professionals to be more personable. Yeah. So that course was mostly soft skills. There was no technical, there were some terms in it, but we don't teach them how to solve the problem. We teach them how to approach problem solving. Yeah. So, focus on the person, not the problem. Like actually hear what the person is telling you, try to rephrase it, repeat it back to them, make sure that you got what they're saying, match kind of their level of knowledge. So you're not trying to be like up there and looking down at whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
And then explain it as much as possible. Now, not everybody likes to have full details. I can talk forever about something that I'm passionate about, like technology or soccer. But sometimes I find myself giving an awful lot of details to a customer who's not interested. Like, just make it work. Don't tell me how you did it. Just make it work. But sometimes I feel it's my duty because, they own the website. They own the business. It's my duty to make sure that they have the information. And not only that, but if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, at least they know what I've done on the website so they can go and get someone to help. Yeah. Instead of just like, oh, my web guy disappeared on me. Yeah. And now I'm left high and dry and I don't know what to do.
Yeah, and I feel like there's a lot of them that, like business owners that might hire website developers and just expect them to do the work with no information given.
Yeah,
and then as soon as it's done, they're like, "That's not what I wanted." Yeah, exactly. And it's just like I'm editing a lot lately, and I can run into that too. Where if a person, it's almost like. While I'm editing, sometimes you'll get annoyed if there's too much input because you want to get creative in your own way. But if there's zero input, it's like, just be creative. That's more stressful.
Many people think when they outsource the website building part, that the designer would like make up the content for them, like find the images and write the text and whatever. But like as a business owner, you're the best person to pitch. You're the best person to speak about what you do. You're the best person who knows what makes you unique. Yeah. Why you started this business at the first place, right? Yeah. The web designer, no matter how good they are, they wouldn't know that. Yeah. Right? So think of it as a picture in a frame. If I'm building the frame for you that you're going to put on the wall and put the picture in it, right? The picture itself comes from you. My job is to find the best place for that frame to be and the best looking frame, in your room and setup or whatever. Yeah. But the photo or the picture that goes in it, it's all up to you. Yeah,
and that makes a lot of sense. And I feel that it's a lot of one or the other, where the person has too many eggs in the basket. They're going too heavily within, or they're just stand off and expect everything to be done with no
Yeah.
no
No,
knowledge.
I
given.
don't want like 40 pages of content for a website that's 5 pages,
Yeah.
and I have to rummage through and find out which piece of content goes where.
Yeah.
And I don't want no content either.
Yeah.
So I usually, what I do is I would create like a shared folder between me and the client. And inside the folder, there are mini folders or subfolders per page. So one folder will be called homepage, one folder will be called contact us, one folder will be called our services or
photo
something
gallery
yeah.
or
And then in there, all what I want is the images that you want on that page. If you have them, if you don't, happy to go around and find suitable images. There are so many like sites where you
stock
can
images.
buy images. Yeah, I don't normally like to use stock images because we want to keep the site unique.
Yeah.
But there are so many scenarios where you need them. You know,
Yeah.
you need stock images. So
Yeah.
if you don't have them, that's fine. We can find something, but usually if you have a few, even if you're not sure where they go on the page, just put them in that folder. Image is not the issue. Text is, content is. We can get a copywriter, but again, the copywriter would cost you per word, and they don't know your business the same way you do.
Yeah.
So even if you don't know what to write, a tip for every business owner: record it on your phone. Just talk.
Yeah.
Pretend you're talking to us. Pretend you're talking to somebody. Pretend you're pitching in a networking event or to someone you just met in the supermarket, and who asks you, you know, what do you do? And you're telling them, put this and then put this MP3 audio file in the folder, and we'll figure it out.
They can make it work with the words that might sound a little bit more professional or whatever it is. Right?
Yeah. We can then get an editor to make it, you know, more professional, whatever it is. Like there are different services that can be provided, but the base has to be there.
Yeah, that's very true. With what you do, like as the internet guy, are there any current cool things you're working on?
I don't know, like I wouldn't say they're cool, but like the first thing is like what we're doing today. I've always wanted to start my podcast, and I've been procrastinating forever. There's a lot of you know, getting a good space to record, having the right equipment, having somebody who's a professional editor who can, you know, cut and paste stuff together and make the intros and whatever. And certainly I didn't want to be talking to myself. So it's usually having a two-way conversation. So the podcast is that's the project I'm working on now, and I'm hoping that this will be the first episode, like the intro of the podcast. Recently I've been fixing websites more than building new ones because people realized the speed, you know, like their websites are not loading fast enough and they want them fixed. So they just come, we have like a package just to speed. So we don't change anything. We don't change the design, you know, and what we do, we apply some of the algorithms that we know from the back end on the hosting part. And then we have what we call a caching plugin. There's so many of those. The issue isn't which plugin is better than the other, but it's how you configure it to do the right job. Because it's not a set it and forget it sort of thing. It has to be configured correctly to work with your back end. And this way your website would load faster. So we've been getting some of these, and we've been getting a lot of people who call and say, hey, I have a problem. And then turns out they have malware. You know, like the problem with all the websites, regardless of what technology they're on, technology gets updated sometimes on a daily basis. If you're using something like WordPress itself, every now and then they would issue like an update, and sometimes it will be like a major update that changes a lot of things. Your themes, your plugins, probably every 2 or 3 days they have an update. If they discover a security problem or something, they'll update it. Leaving all this stuff on auto and forgetting about it will cause you trouble. If it's not updated, it's a security problem. You could be hacked or you could have malware. And if it's on auto update, sometimes they don't play nicely together. Like you might have a conflict between this WordPress version and that specific plugin, which wasn't written for this version. and they didn't update quickly enough, so there's a conflict there.
Mm.
So you always need a professional to do your maintenance and security, and backups.
Yeah.
We always realize how important a backup is when we don't have it.
Yeah, I know all about that.
When crisis hits, and like, oops, I kind of lost everything here. Like, you don't have a backup? Oh no, I was offered a backup for $1.50 when I set up my hosting, but I declined this option. Makes you like, I want to pull my hair out.
It's always the worst scenario too, and in the worst timing. It's how it usually works.
So like backups are not expensive. They're about $2 a month or something like this. Like if you have a professional doing your maintenance, security, updates, and backups, they'll take care of it. If you're doing it yourself, invest, see if your hosting company does backups. And I'm 100% sure it's not expensive. Like it's usually around between $1 and $5 per month, depending how big your site is. Yeah. And invest in this, not only backups, but learn if there's something wrong, how do you restore from a backup? So, and then you can play around as much as you like. Yeah. Break your site, it doesn't matter. Learn anything you want to learn if you have the time. Yeah, you're backed up, you're good.
Yeah. I might be talking like, I'm obviously not in that field of work, but I could see a problem being, or not even a problem, it's work for for web developers and stuff, is a business owner or a person gets somebody to make a website for them. They finish the project. They think that's the end of it. They post their website, not realizing that you have to update that website. Like in today's time, it could be daily with new things you could do, or weekly, or like if you're not using it that much monthly, like if you're mom and pop shop that doesn't need to do it, but you still have to update it. So do you run into those issues a lot where it's like they don't have the contact of the guy who developed the website or whoever developed the website, and then now you got to go fix it for them? Is that like
Yes, because they've got like some dated plugins that haven't been updated from 2013. Yeah. And some of them have even been taken off the internet anyway. Like the person who created that plugin no longer develops plugins anymore. Yeah. And you still have it on your website, and that's a security hole in there. Just crisis waiting to happen. Yeah. So we do a lot of that. Yeah. And one of the things that I've just noticed as well, since we're discussing backup and stuff, yesterday somebody posted on Facebook. She was very active on Instagram. She spent the last 3 years building like very good follower base, and her Instagram page was the main kind of marketing tool for her. She got somehow hacked. Like somebody who she knows, she received a message with a link to click and a code to enter. Yeah. And she did that blindly from the phone, small screen, doesn't read, what's going on properly. And the result was her Instagram page disappeared. Poof, completely. Yeah. 5,000 followers, gone. Yeah. And now she's at the mercy of Facebook and Instagram, like trying to contact support and get them to get this page back. And we don't know if they even can do that or not, because she doesn't even know what she did.
She probably sold it to somebody.
I don't know.
People buy accounts that have
with a lot of followers. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but and I'm thinking why would you have the meat of your marketing somewhere when you have zero control? Yeah. You don't own Facebook, you don't own Instagram, you don't own Squarespace, you don't own Shopify, you don't own Wix, right? All what it takes is for them to do a little change for you to suffer. And why do that? I know it's so easy to I know your website is on Squarespace, for example, and I was speaking with Erin the other day about if you want it faster, what do you do? And she said, I just paid for an upgrade to make it faster. So we tested it together, and it's not as fast as we want it to be. But now after an upgrade, you're at the mercy of Squarespace. If there's no more upgrade to make it even faster, there's nothing that you can do. You're just stuck there, right? Yeah. And so my advice is make your own website. Number one, many people think WordPress is hard. Okay? If you think it's hard, find something else that you host yourself on your host. When I say host yourself, I don't mean you get servers in your house and whatever. I mean buy hosting. It's under your control, right? Your website is on your web hosting, And if for any reason it's not fast enough, it's got a problem, whatever, you can just take the whole thing, migrate it to another host provider. And if you don't know how to do it, you get any web designer or developer, they'll do it for you, and it doesn't cost an arm and a leg. But you have you have your bucket with you. You can take it with you wherever you go. If it's not fast enough, there are plugins that can do that. There are people who can help you because you own the code, you own the stuff.
Yeah.
It's with you. It's not on somebody else's network. Now, am I saying don't be on social media? Not at all. Use social media to draw traffic to your website. So make your website your main bucket. Like when people speak of funnels and stuff, some of the words that we hear these days scare me. Like if I meet someone who say the word 7 figures, I just walk away. I get scared of, money scares me as well. I want to make money, but I don't think I want to, okay, I'm not saying I don't want to be a millionaire or I don't want to make 7 figures, but what scares me is hearing about people who are saying to everyone that this is so easy to hit 7 figures. Man, to hit 4 figures is hard work. But yeah, if you put in the work and the hours and you learn and you get better at what you do, you'll hit 7 figures eventually. Some other words that scare me is the word funnel. Because people who are saying this are not explaining what a funnel is. The only thing that comes to mind is changing the car's oil when they put the...
Yeah. Yeah, or a funnel cake.
Or a funnel cake, yeah. But, so I call it simply a bucket. This is the bucket where your customers and your prospect customers and leads go. Yeah. Have this bucket somewhere that you own, which is your website. Then use social media to draw the traffic back to this bucket. So at least you always have your bucket with you. Yeah. Right? And if you're gonna post, many people now love Instagram because it's so easy to use, and many now are going to TikTok and other networks. By all means, do be active there if this is where your customers will be, or the people who you're trying to educate or serve are there on these networks. But first, if you have to write something, create a video or whatever, do this post on your website. So let's say I created the video. I'll put it on YouTube. Then I'll create a post on my website and I'll link the video in the post. So I write an intro, put the video on the page. Then I'll take this link of this page and push it to my Facebook, Instagram, whatever other networks, LinkedIn. And this way, people, when they click, they're coming to my site. So if for any reason, if I have trouble with any of these social media networks, my website is still there, works.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes a total, a ton of sense. And there's all those different, almost like branch websites, or a link tree, I think is one of them, where people pop in their profiles or whatever, where if they're Instagram heavy, they'll go crazy on their Instagram, but in their bio, they have a link to their main website or a link to a bunch of their main stuff.
Exactly.
And their main website, and then all of their side projects or their side social medias. And if you put your eggs all in one basket, you lose that basket.
You don't want to do that.
Or they go out of business. Yeah. I think about, I have a friend who's he's always been doing the social media stuff and pretty big on it. Then TikTok came out and it just his popularity skyrocketed. And then you heard all about that stuff about possibly being banned and all that.
Yeah.
It's just so you can literally go from monetizing off of a social media app as your main source of income. That's how much TikTok could pay some people. And then all of a sudden,
one change.
Oh,
you're in crisis.
Yeah, especially in the States, with how politics are. Politics can control how you make your money. So I feel like you really need to kind of brand your own brand in its own spot, like you say, with a website, with anything like that, and then just use all the many tools that are options for everybody to promote yourself in whatever way is the best. You take an artist per se, Instagram is perfect. LinkedIn is more businessy, business to business. But if you know your niche, go hard on that stuff, but don't just go hard on that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, if you're an artist, have a website.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't have to be state-of-the-art website, but have a website that has some of your art.
Yeah.
Publish it on your website first, and then if you're a musician, for example, you'll be in Spotify or Cloud. What is it called? Cloud something?
It's just Apple Music, I think.
Yeah, or Apple Music, or but if you have some of your music or like little clips that are for free, publicly, posted, put it on your website first. Let it hit your website. Let Google see.
Yeah.
And this is one of the things, like, I don't know if we still have time, but one of the things that bugs the hell out of me is people paying for SEO without realizing what SEO is.
Yeah.
Like, what are you paying for? Like, a lot of people pay, I don't know, $500, $600 a month.
Yeah.
And they're not really sure what they're paying for. And it bugs me. It's like, most of the cases, what happens is like, you have a website, you want it to be noticed. You get a spam message somewhere, either by email or on one of your social media networks or by an agency or whatever, who say, hey, we'll put you on the first page of Google. Who doesn't want to be on the first page of Google, right?
Yeah.
So, you guys, please take this into consideration. I can't put you on the first page of Google. He can't, unless you're Google. Only Google can put you on the first page of Google. But what these people do, they buy ads. So basically, when you search for something and you get the ads on top first, and it's labeled ad, like everyone knows. And nowadays, most of the people, when they see the word ads, they don't want to click anyway. So, sometimes it's even a waste of money. But anyway, you're paying for an agency or for a third party to go and buy Google ads on your behalf. So some of the money, of course, will be covering their own effort and work. And a big chunk of the money goes to pay for the ads. But you're not involved. It's like you're just dishing out money, right? And you have no clue what you're paying for. Where are these ads placed? Are they placed like, do I want my ad to appear, for example, on a page that sells something that I don't agree with?
Yeah.
Do I want my ad to appear on a political page, for example, and I have nothing to do with politics, or the other way around? So you don't know where your ads are placed. You don't know what keywords they used for your ads. That's bad practice. So when you hear the word SEO, which is search engine optimization, stop and think. Number one, think of the stuff that's under your own control. If let's say you're a small pizza outlet or a small pizza restaurant, right? So 2 pizza restaurants, one of them is active on their website and the other one is not. Which one do you think Google will like more?
Obviously the active one.
The active one. Now, when you speak with the pizza shop owner, they'll tell you want me to blog about pizza? Yeah, I want you to blog about pizza. Just tell people why, I don't know, this type of dough is better than that type of dough.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know much about pizza myself. I eat it. But, it's your industry. Write something about it. Yeah. It doesn't have to be the best article ever, but commit to do something weekly. Yeah. If I'm still going with the pizza thing, you can write about different toppings. You can write about why did you decide to open a pizza shop at the first place. So it's not about just people coming to your website to look at the menu and order. Yeah. Right? Because some of them won't even find you. But when you're writing stuff, Google will pick it up and it will start appearing in different places. And, if you write this one and tweet about it or share that article on Facebook, and, your followers would see it. And sometimes you feel like my stuff sometimes on Facebook is pretty technical, and sometimes I question myself, should I put this on my regular Facebook page or in a specific group that I know would be interested in this stuff? And I do it on both. And even on my page, when it would be maybe boring for the general, my friends and family and whatever, but it actually serves a purpose. It's a reminder for them about what I do. When you've known someone for a long time, sometimes you forget what they do. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You don't see them that often. The last thing you do is talk about work. You want to catch up on everything else of the things that you might love and you get along about or whatever. You're not going to ask them what they do for work.
Now, when someone was going to ask me, do you know a good pizza place? If I've just seen it, from somebody I know on my, Facebook, I'd say, yeah, Mike's Pizza is the best pizza in town.
And it's not pizza is a great example too, because I love my pizza too, and it's when you look online now, like if a pizza place is great, it's a mom and pop pizza shop, but they don't have online presence. You can't order online. They have a basic website that posts like literally looks like they took a picture with their cell phone of their menu. It's on their website, and you got to still call them.
And there's nothing to do. Like you can't, as a visitor, they're not making your life easier.
And it could be the greatest pizza in the world, but if it's
if no one knows about it,
in a time that everybody's so time based and so impatient. Not many people are going to go to a website, so they have to pull out their phone, so they have to call you and make the order. So like I find that Google, like even if you have a website, you have to keep that thing updated, even if it's like online ordering, just anything. Like even if you don't want to blog, just be. It's quite easy from what I understand.
Put some activity, any activity.
Yeah, and it's like I find it's hilarious because you always if the smaller pizza places, if you go to their websites, it's not their pictures of their pizza. They take like stock images of pizza from other places and stuff, and it's hilarious. We're just talking about pizza now.
Get your teenage kid with their camera. I mean, if they have an iPhone, they have good quality camera. And get them to take pictures of your pizza in the shop. Like it's easy.
I think that's the mom and pop businesses that are succeeding are the one that are like, if they're stubborn and older and they don't want to get with the times with like social media accounts or just tech in general or just like promotion that way. The people that are the small businesses that are old like that are being saved are the ones that have kids or someone that they've hired that has that young sense of mind. That's like mom, dad, or whoever they are.
Some of the stuff can be easily taken care of, but some of the stuff you still have to do.
Yeah, 100%. Cool. Where can we find you, Amr? Like, who do you have for Facebook groups, Instagram, everything?
Yeah, so my company is not by my name. My company is called Human Talents Tech.
Okay.
So it's humantalents.ca. It's a .ca.
Okay.
And if you just Google Amr The Internet Guy, hopefully you'll find me.
Yeah. Page 1?
I can't really tell you. Yeah, but that's a very precise search. So if you say Amr The Internet Guy, it's definitely page 1. But if you just say The Internet Guy without my name, of course, I'm probably page 1,000 down.
But check him out. Amr The Internet Guy. Great personality, great man. He's awesome to talk to, and I could imagine be awesome to work with.
Thank you, sir.
So I can't say anything but great about you. You definitely, like I said, the stereotype of a web designer. You break that wall down like it ain't anything. You just break that wall down, and I think that's good because to show people that they're not all Geek Squad. They're not all like the kids in school that that.
I wear glasses.
Oh. Yeah,
I lost most of my hair.
Yeah, but you're not 20.
Exactly.
And you're not, So I appreciate you coming on. I hope to do more with you. And like you said, you want to get into podcasting too. So doing this as like a joint episode together is a good idea, I think. Where if you want to keep doing this, obviously this is a place where we're trying to promote this. And you as a website developer, I think you could see the pluses of media and using any kind of media to your advantage to promote yourself, right?
Yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, for example, I prefer audiobooks. Yeah. Sometimes you want the feeling of a book in your hand, but in most cases, for people like me who spend a long time in front of a computer screen, in your off time, you don't want your eyes to continue being tired, right? Yeah. So it's just easier to listen to the books, and it's easier to learn by listening to podcasts. So, anything that technology has made available for us these days, it will be good to use it. Yeah. And I aim to help as many people as I can find more success online. Yeah. So, if this is by listening to one of these episodes or asking a question and finding the answer somewhere in one of the Facebook groups or whatever, that would be great. Like my job is done. Yeah. If I can educate as many people as possible, as many business owners on how to be more successful online, my job is done.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thank you for being here, Amr.
Thank you,
I
Mike.
appreciate you coming in, like I said, and yeah, we'll do it again sometime.
Take care, man. COVID.
Check him out, Amr the Internet Guy. He's awesome.
Hey, guys.
So have a good one.